There we go. Recording is started. This is the April 14th, 2026 Rook community meeting. Let's hop on into our milestones. And then it looks like I got a fair number of topics on there. So let's start plowing through it all here. So the last time we met was in early March. So we've done a couple of patch releases and such since then. So let's take a quick look at those just to see if there's anything notable to call out on those, starting with the 118 branch.
I think it'd been about 6 weeks since the previous release, and it's also just picking up a few fixes there.
Right?
No,
Nothing
I
major
think
call
nothing
out.
major to report. I think the discussion point then is how long we want to support 1.18. So normally with 1.20 coming out, 1.18 support would kind of die off pretty quickly. But Josh has a good point that is it Reef? Um, no, not
Yep.
Reef. Squid is has been slow to release and it blocked upgrading the Squid, right? So he needs to keep using Reef longer. Is that a fair
Yep,
summary, Jeff?
that's true. And I imagine there's probably a number of people in the same situation. My previous employer, I had made the decision to hold on Squid. And when I came into this new position, they had already made the decision to hold on going to Squid. So I imagine there's
Mhm.
others out there in the same boat. They're sort of in a holding pattern. So
Right.
that's the conversation that Travis and I had was that I volunteered to be the backport genie to try and help keep 118 alive. Um,
Yeah. So 1.18 was our last release that supports Reef. So if we keep, I feel fine about continuing support longer for the that than usual. And fingers crossed, the next Squid release in the next couple of months will include all of the fixes that remove those blockers, right? And then
Absolutely.
people can upgrade to Squid. So maybe it's only a couple more months timeline, I would hope, but I guess we'll see.
Right,
There's
so
been some motion on release engineering for 1924, but I don't recall what the schedule was.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like they're opening the check-in window for through May and then having the release after that. I don't remember exactly.
so Josh is nominated backboard genie. I got that out of that conversation there, which I like that title. But are we also thinking that this would be like an extension of the time period with the same bar and threshold for backports, or would it be more like a hey, this is now maybe only critical fixes only, or what are we thinking there?
That's a great question.
Yeah. I would like to have a higher bar. Like we don't want to backport everything. We're backporting to 1.19. Of course, we're already not doing that.
Yeah. Um, that's a great question because there's stuff that I would love to add that I would like to backport to 1.18 and roll out. So, I mean, the question here is do I put effort into keeping 118 alive, or do I just have a private fork where I backport features on so I can roll them out to my own infrastructure? I guess that's kind of like the split is. Um,
Yeah. I would say if there's something that you're working on that you would like to see deployed on Reef, by let's talk about each one, but probably let's just plan on backporting those to 1.18 so you don't need another backport or
yeah.
fork.
Yeah, and
It's
in terms of duration, I would say at least until Squid.4 is out, and
Mhm.
potentially longer, so that we know that .4 is good. Historically, it's been scary upgrading to Ceph releases that have had such a long interval between them. There's just so much stuff accumulated. There's just a high
Like
risk for regression.
8 or 10 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that three last July or something? It feels like we're
Yeah,
coming up on a
it was
year.
last summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, dang.
Right. Anyway, so
uh,
yeah, we'll plan on it.
Cool. Yeah, so it sounds like as always, like any sort of threshold for patches, for backports, all that sort of stuff, those are, always subject to maintainer discretion, right? So it's not like we have to have a very strict thing of like, okay, no, this is going to be the well-defined thing. It's like, yep, okay, cool. If it's useful in 1.18 and the maintainer team is supporting it, then that makes plenty of sense. So we don't have to hold ourselves to too strict of something right this minute.
Yeah, hopefully
Uh,
nothing too major as far as merge conflicts. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, that's the backport genie's problem,
Yep.
right?
Right.
All
Just
right.
say a prayer. The genie will
Yes,
come to resolve your merge conflicts.
I like this. Let us know if you're considering expanding into other types of industries and yeah, anything else besides just backports. Okay, so 1.19, let's take a look at that. Same sort of patch March 24th timeframe. Maybe also just
Yeah, just a
mostly
number of
fixes.
fixes. Yeah. I think of note in that one was that our NVMeOF feature became a lot more usable in that patch release. Uh, Number of good fixes
Oh,
from
great.
the team. And there's still performance questions, so we're looking at that next, so that RBD and NVMeOF performance can be similar. Right now, there's looks like the pod networking is causing slowdowns. So we're
Hmm.
following up there. But for this release, at least improvements.
Okay, sounds good. And then oh, this is today. Then is it
Yeah,
scheduled
it's, I
1.19.4 release?
think we'll plan on it today. I think we're good to go ahead. We've been on more like a 3-week cadence instead of a biweekly, but nobody's been complaining, so that cadence seems to work okay. But if we want biweekly, uh, that's fine too. Yeah, I need to look at this board. It's updated,
Don't
but
worry about it.
I always
Okay.
say the same thing.
Okay, sweet. So that's upcoming patches then are figured out. And then let's take a look at 1.20 because we're getting closer to the next big release.
Yeah. Yeah, the main work item here that we really want to make sure is included in the .0 would be the conversion to CSI operator and making it fully configurable by the user to use those CSI operators CRDs. Right now, Rook is generating them automatically based on our old settings. So we're converting that, and the description is all in this issue here. So it's taking still a bit of time to finish this workout. Subham is working diligently on it, but he's out some this week too. So,
Mm.
and then I'm out the first week of May. So I don't think we're going to be ready by the end of April. And so probably we'll target mid-May as the time frame for the release. Uh,
But the
so
like release candidate build, we do still expect this week then.
yeah, I think we'll go ahead and create the branch this week and
Okay.
just get the processes in place and things and start planning more for the release to make it happen. But it'd probably still be mid-May is my thought.
Let's
Finishing
take a
that.
look at the project board too to see if there's anything in blocking or anything. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, the CSI management, I guess we should create a blocking column to say
Yeah,
we want that to block it.
that sounds like that would fall into that bucket.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
my main thought
it
around
sounds like this
these.
is the more likely candidate for the actual release date then.
Yeah, I'm gonna update that to target May 13th.
There you go. Okay. Then we'll keep making progress on this blocking issue then too. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, anything else for milestones then? Either patch releases or upcoming minor release? All right. Let's roll down into the community topics then. So first one, obviously, is our newest maintainer, Josh, who is obviously signed up for a bunch of stuff already, in addition to the contributions you've been making over a while. So congratulations, Josh, and welcome to the maintainer team, and thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Mhm. Yeah, glad to have you and get you involved in the release processes too, since you want to take a look at that.
Absolutely.
And
I want to be as involved as possible.
yeah, so maybe after lunchtime we can look at that release process for today.
Great. Today's a great day for that for me.
Okay.
Excellent. Wonderful. All right. AI governance topic here. And by the way, Travis, I added the book.io website stuff too, because it's not obviously not related to this explicitly, but it's more
Oh,
of
right.
project policy sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, Blaine, I think Blaine, you had those links there as far as AI policies. We're thinking we're having a lot more PRs open recently from either bots or people using AI. And it's probably time we should have some recommendations and governance around that and how we respond to that. Blaine, you want to share your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, mostly I just kind of want to have a conversation like, so we can collect our individual pain points and develop a policy that's going to work for us. Um, I think I shared quite a bit in a Slack message. I think in my experiences so far working with like AI PRs, I think it would be helpful to have something to point to. Like if we get a PR and we're like, this looks like a bot, not like a person, like I would like to be able to link to a policy and just say, hey, like right, like if this is what we decide, like we don't accept contributions from bots without uh, the input from a person as well. That seems to be what Kubernetes has decided on. I think that is appropriate, especially because we have like right, we have like the developer certificate of origin, and for me, one of the things is like, can AI right, like can you really have a DCO for a bot, like which is kind of philosophical, but for me, I'm like I don't think so. I think this like has to be kind of like person driven. So just like having the ability to say, hey, you need to actually engage with us as a person in order for us to like even start reviewing things would be helpful. Um, other things, I think this comes from Qbert or OPA, I forget which, but having a requirement that like PR comments aren't written by AI seems like it could be helpful. Like I think Shabam and I both had some struggles with one of the PRs where someone was using AI to respond to our questions, and like I I don't have I had some struggles just because AI tends to pontificate much this, and I don't I would feel better interacting with an actual like human being saying, yeah, this is why it's important to me. This is right why these design decisions are made. Like this is why this is or isn't problematic, rather than it going to a person who just puts it into right Claude. Uh, those are my like bigger preferences.
And Michael, you have your hand up too to add on to it.
Unmute.
Yeah, easy to forget to unmute when you lower your hand. Anyway, so my experience here is from basically working a little bit with a personal test version of this GitHub Copilot and regarding the DCO. And so in that case, the AI doesn't usually do things on its own, but on behalf of a developer. So for instance, it can raise PRs and do things when asked to do so by a person. That means usually the commits will have something like co-authored between the AI and the person who triggered it. So that might be sufficient for a DCO compliance, isn't it?
Sorry, your question is if the DCO can be written by the bot?
No, I think DCO
Or,
usually means that it's signed off in the commit message with the signed off by tag there.
right.
I think that's usually what in GitHub CI the DCO means.
Exactly.
In that case, that the signed off by is the same name and email address as the author or committer of the patch.
Correct.
And so if it's essentially putting the name and email of the person who triggered the AI to do the patch or the PR as the author, and then just puts co-authored by with the tag for for the AI, like the GitHub Copilot, then it should be fine for fulfilling the DCO requirements. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thread that's been pulled up here, I believe the conclusion on this was that the Linux Foundation had said that no solely generated AI stuff was accepted for legal reasons in terms of being able to accept the CLA. Um, on the in the LKLM community, they've decided that if you use AI to largely generate a patch set, that you need to add an additional signed off tag that's like assisted by AI, and then the LLM model.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe in the maintainers Slack we could follow up on the details and figure out what process we want. But fine.
Yeah. I mean, uh, I had also seen that from the Linux Foundation, right? They yeah. My biggest struggle is like, right. I can like ask Claude to like develop a patch set. I can look over it, right? I don't necessarily have a problem with people doing that, but it does seem like some of these accounts are right. There's a GitHub account that's attached to a bot that is doing, and the bot is doing things like there is no human intervention at all. And right, that is something that I struggle with like philosophically, and even when I consider like are there legal ramifications? Like can a bot meaningfully like read a contributor license agreement and understand that Rook is under the CNCF, which is under the Linux Foundation, and like has those requirements? And I think the answer is no.
Now, well, it sounds like there's a zeroth order issue here then, is that we should ask for guidance through CNCF if we need to require that a human does the sign off.
I feel like one simple thing that I've like it's hard to know always if it's AI or a human that opens the initial PR, right? But
Mm-hmm.
just by asking a question like, "Have you tested this?" If it doesn't respond or it's a bot, it doesn't seem like it's answering that, and then the PR just goes stale. So maybe as a detection, I mean, if a real user opens a PR and they don't respond to us either, then the stale bot catches the PR anyway. So we could have that as the way to deal with the
Yeah,
bots. Like,
and that's one. Yeah, bots. Yes, that's one path. Yeah, this is a very nuanced issue. And it's really quite interesting. Like one path that's also happens is it's like a goal here should be that the contributor, a human contributor at the end of the day, is signing off on this and they have confidence. They have confidence and understanding of what they're building and submitting to the project, and they've convinced the maintainer team that is the case, right? So when you have sort of like you provide feedback on a PR as a maintainer, and the contributor clearly just takes copies your feedback, puts it into Claude, and then copies the response and puts it back in. It's very clear when that's happening, and that's like another form of nope. That's not cool, because that's not going towards the end goal of building confidence that the contributor understands deeply what they're doing, and is building trust with the maintainer team, right? So there's a very nuanced issue with a lot of like legal issues about it, philosophical issues, and then like experience issues towards the end goal of having confidence in a contribution.
right.
I do like that there's a bunch of movement across our landscape here, right? Like the various projects, like have already defined their policies, and Flex said there's just that recently Kubernetes has one, so we're not all alone on this. We do have some prior art to kind of figure out what we want to do.
Right. Yeah. And as far as like what like officially, I think our only like real policy is from the Linux Foundation, kind of sort of like through CNCF. As far as I could tell from my research, CNCF itself doesn't set any requirements on its like various projects to have a specific policy beyond the Linux Foundation's policy.
Why am I
And
mentioned in this? Oh God.
yeah, good good question.
Did I participate in this? Why am I ever? I
Surprise.
don't. Oh boy, that's the. We'll look at that later.
That's fun.
Um, one thing that I do like here, and you're right, Blaine. Like the only thing from the LF, it's in as an umbrella that I've seen so far, is like a bots cannot legally sign CLAs. That is a no go. So yeah, they see it the CNCF as a underneath the umbrella of the LF, has not given a mandated here's what you have to do, and the individual projects are doing their own. It doesn't sound like I feel like the thoughts of this group here, maintainer group is fairly well aligned. I don't feel like any of us have like a wildly divergent opinion that's gonna cause a lot of concern for it. We have to find alignment together. So that's an encouraging thing. So it's kind of like, what details do we want to settle on? I think there's probably if the CNCF has something specifically, then we can just use it. That's probably going to be the nicest thing. I don't think we want to be novel here necessarily, but I don't hear any wild misalignments amongst the comments so far, at least.
Yeah, and it seems like we would prefer something on the lighter side, um,
Yeah.
which, I mean, yeah, you also mentioned like this is a nuanced issue, and it really, really is. I think, having a policy that allows us to use a fair amount of discretion as well will be useful.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would think the priority is make sure that we're on firm legal footing. So whatever requirements we have from above, we should absolutely comply with that.
Mhm.
And then beyond that, I think we should optimize for efficiency of maintainer time. So if OpenClaw is opening a bunch of garbage pull requests that are burning maintainer time, then that's unacceptable, right? And so we should have a policy that should respect that. Um, but as exactly what that policy should be, I don't think I have strong feelings about it at this point in time. This is still such a new thing. I haven't fully formed my own internal opinions about it.
Yeah, I think the direction that you're describing there, Josh, is once again well aligned with everything else I'm hearing here. Cool. Okay, so Blaine, are you kind of taking the lead on this? It seems like you've been driving a little bit so far.
Yeah, I can follow up in the maintainer uh, Slack
In
discussion.
channel. Yeah.
I think I
Cool.
may have started that before Joshua actually had it as well. So, um, are you
I
able to
think,
see?
Josh, you can see all the history, right? But
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to ask.
yeah, I think so.
Okay, great.
Don't go Control F, Josh. Just kidding. Nothing but love there, of course. All right, sweet. So let's roll on into the website commercial page requirements as well, because we had gotten a pull request that was certainly on the lighter side of depth of Rook involvement, let's say. So, Travis, I think you had stronger opinions, I think, than most other people did. Do you want to kind of reiterate that real quick?
Yeah, so the PR is open. Do you want to click on the website and go show the
Oh yeah.
support page that we have?
Yep, yep,
So
yep,
we've got
yep.
the support page that shows basically people who are willing to provide downstream support. And we've got two currently with Clyso and Red Hat. And at the bottom there, we have just a comment that says, "Oh, to add your company to the list, just open a PR." And that I think that's too open of
Yeah.
an invitation, right?
Come on
So
in, everybody. We don't care what you do.
right. So I want to open a PR to just add a couple of little bullet points like, hey, introduce yourself, be willing to contribute to Rook Upstream to give back to the community, right? You've got to be participating in the community to be on this page. That's my thought. So I'll open a PR to that effect, unless anybody else has any concerns with that. But and also on that PR that they did open last week, we asked some questions. They never
They didn't
responded, did
respond.
they? Maybe a bot just opened it, right?
I
Um,
actually suspect that was the case, but I don't know that.
Interesting.
so
Okay.
yeah, it's an AI company. It looks like, and they don't,
Hmm.
like you said, they don't even have, like Jared, you said, they don't even have a Rook landing page. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for historically, that had been my bare minimum. Was like, do you? Because I think that's that's in line with the CNCF's website guidelines. Is that that it should any link to from a commercial/vendors page on the project's website should link to something specific about the project and not just like their vendor page, right? Like that's the bare minimum bar that the CNCF sets as well. So yeah, like they didn't even have that, which is that doesn't meet my bar either. I think my bar was a little bit less than your bar was, Travis, and that doesn't even meet that bar either. So
so yeah, maybe we'll give it a few more days, then just close their PR. But if they're not even going to respond.
Yeah, I don't see anything in here yet. So yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, Travis, I think I could be on board with like hey, willingness to participate in the upstream community as well. I think that's not unreasonable. I would not go as far as mandating like a specific number of hours, et cetera, like we do for governance for maintainers and stuff like that. But yeah, hey, like get involved with us, be contributing, be involved with the community. That's pretty reasonable. Yep. Right. That's cool. Okay. Any other opinions from folks on this one?
I think I just reiterate what I said in Slack, in that I feel like by putting a name on that page, it's an implicit endorsement. And so we kind of have a responsibility to police that in some way. Not that I don't have strong feelings about what the policing is, but we're saying this is someone who you can trust to help you get support that you need. And so there should be a bar for entry on that.
Yep. Agreed.
I actually have a question about how to understand this kind of page, in the sense that, hey, I've seen Clyso and Red Hat. My point is that, is it about companies offering commercial support for deployments of Rook with their own builds or even possibly community builds? Because at least Red Hat and I think Clyso have builds of their own, right?
Yeah, downstream is totally okay
downstream
here.
Stuff.
Yep.
But like the company's own downstream, right?
Yeah, correct.
Oh,
yep.
Got it. So in that case, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Just want to say, hey, in that case, IBM would qualify as well. But usually the support is not, hey, we have Rook running, but you bought a product and that entitles you with some support. Okay.
Yep. This is like my understanding of the CNCF's website guidelines is like, hey, this is the one place in all the community of the whole project where vendors can put their stamp basically and get some acknowledgement or traffic. Like this is the place to do that. So yeah, downstream products are totally acceptable here.
Sure. Okay, got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Fine. Yeah, and as you guys mentioned, this other PR trying to add some other company, if that's really about AI, hey, these AI things are so good meanwhile that maybe the support wouldn't be that bad actually.
I will say that Claude's understanding of deep Ceph issues is almost alarmingly good. I mean, it has clearly ingested all sorts of esoteric information from mailing list posts from years ago. It is quite terrifying, actually, the things that it understands.
Yeah, without having this first-hand experience on Claude and Ceph itself, I can confirm that the depth of understanding that I've witnessed with AI is pretty impressive. Maybe they've been watching conference presentation recordings or so. I don't know if that's even possible.
Yeah, it's got a fair amount of information.
Yeah, deep understanding about the balancer doing weird things with up maps, and I've even had it generate interview questions for me that are Ceph specific. It's
the like only another Claude would be able to pass, or Sage.
Right.
That's
and
funny.
Then I think what I've probably people here like Blaine Part and Travis have been hearing me say already is that no matter how good this AI is, we have to be careful as humans to always not just eat it what it gives, but carefully review it, be it code or others suggesting that it does. So let's keep our human control and stance orbit, I'd say.
Yes. Yes, Michael. Agreed very much, my friend. Okay, cool. Let's keep on trucking here. I've got notes about a number of currently supported Ceph releases and versions.
Yeah, I'll comment on that. So hopefully we get a .4 out in the next month or two, like we were talking about for Squid. And for Tentacle, we have the v22.1 as of a few days ago or last week, I guess. So that's nice to have that out finally. So we are ready to make that the default Ceph version starting in Rook 1.19.4 in our release today. Don't know of any blockers there. There was one issue I still wanted to double check on. Someone opened a Rook issue yesterday about the Ceph dashboard being broken after they upgraded to 20.2.1. But I couldn't repro it, and they didn't repro it either. And so maybe not a blocker if it was just a one-time occurrence, but there's a small concern there, I guess. Possibility. Otherwise, but at least there's no data corruption that we know of with 2.1 like we had with the .0 release of Tentacle. So yep, that is important.
Is that something that maybe we should wait until Rook 1.20 to change, since it's a major Ceph version change?
For which thing? Umbrella or
Yeah,
do
for
the 2.1?
Tentacle. Yeah, to make Tentacle the default.
To make Tentacle the default. Uh, that's a good question. We could, just to give it a bit more stability time, we would just have to revert the PR. I think we already backported it. But yeah, let me think about that. That's probably a good idea, just to wait for, I don't know, but okay.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
take that offline. But let's confirm it before our release today.
That's the kind of thing that might catch somebody by surprise for doing a patch release update if it kicks off a cluster upgrade.
We have changed our default Ceph version in the past with patch releases, but have we done it? Yeah, this is our first time going to Tentacle patch release. So yeah, maybe not. It would be safer just to wait. You're right.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I think it like doing Ceph patch releases should be totally fair game. But when we're talking Ceph major versions, maybe that's something that should wait for a Rook minor release series. I don't know. I don't have strong feelings about it. I'm just throwing the idea out there.
right. Curious to look at past history. I'm pretty sure we've done this in past history, but at the same time, it might not be necessarily a good idea, or might be better to wait for the minor release. We're only a few weeks away from the next minor release too, so uh, yeah, it's probably worth waiting in this case. I like that, but let's follow up offline to confirm.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Josh. That's not an unreasonable question. Okay, and then Travis, did you mention Umbrella as well too about these dates? Or these are very future dates here, so we're not there yet.
From the Ceph leadership team meeting notes from yesterday, I saw these dates, so I just copied them over. But so their tentative release date would be September. I don't know. We'll see. Frequently, those GA dates are moved out, so maybe by end of year we'll have Umbrella. There's a lot of significant updates in that release, so looking forward to it for sure, with like erasure coding and lots of other areas.
Cool.
Yeah.
More progress. Alrighty. KubeCon.
Yeah, Amsterdam. Let's see. We did have a last minute change of speakers due to travel issues. Let's see, who was it? Parth Shabam and another guy from our team all booked their travel through the Middle East, and their flights were canceled due to the situation over there. So we did have Niels that stepped in at the last minute since lives in Amsterdam. Niels from the CSI team, and then Topeka and Artem were able to make it to present there. So that was
thank you for folks stepping up
in
in the face of unexpected issues.
Otherwise, I guess we don't have any of them on the call today, but as far as I know, it sounded like it went well. And then for India, actually I need to update those notes. We've got an update to the speaker list. Subham is actually going to go to DevConf that same week, and so
no Subham.
So no Subham, and then we're trying to. Just yesterday, I sent mail to the speakers at CNCF to ask for a couple of replacements, and maybe even get us up to 5 speakers to get more of our team there. Would be nice. So I'll update this when I hear back.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great to have more representation, more opportunities for folks too.
And then for Japan, we've got Satoru that's already in Japan, and then Santosh will plan on going to that as well.
Excellent. Okay. Cool. And then ongoing design work here.
Yeah, I just put a note in there for the proposal for an RGW operator for creating IAM accounts and things. Blaine's been working with the RGW team on that proposal, so we don't have as much in Rook as far as in-depth account creation or IAM configuration. I don't know, we don't need to dive into it right now, but just mentioned it. Blaine, any comments to add there?
No, I think that covers it.
Then this is did we talk about this issue already?
Yeah, and the CSI conversion. So this is what we already talked about. That's right. So it's still in progress for 1.20.
And the blocker for 1.20 as well, as we determined earlier. Cool. Okay. Anything else that folks want to add to the agenda before we adjourn? All right. Well, thanks for everybody's participation and discussion today. We've got a couple of patch releases to get out and making some progress on getting the release branch for 1.20 going, and then baking that one for a while to get to a quality release. So good to see everybody today, and thanks for everybody's contributions.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, folks. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.